Welcome to Healing Your Families. What do you think of when you hear the term the other parent? It can have more than one definition, but the one I want to focus on in this episode is the other parent of your children. Because as a parent, your commitment, of course, is to your children, and you have that responsibility of taking these sweet, helpless, innocent babes who require your attention 24/7 and teach them to become more independent as they grow through the various stages of life. And you transition and adjust with them and guide them towards independent adulthood, where they are happy, successful, self-reliant, and productive. And everything you do is focused on what is in their best interest, what will help them reach that goal of independent adulthood. So your relationship with their other parent, whether you're together or not, has a huge impact, and that's what on your children, and that's what I want to focus on today, is how you can keep that relationship. I'll be reviewing a variety of situations and providing some recommendations on how to maintain that relationship in a healthy way that helps your children feel secure and believe in themselves and helps them with that goal of maturing to adulthood. I'm old enough to remember the time when children of single mothers were taught to say, "I don't have a dad," or "I don't have a father," when they were asked about their family. And that always hurt my heart. What does that do to a child to have to say that? First of all, we know that that's biologically impossible. Everyone has to have two parents. And it isn't long before children figure that out. So what realization do they have to deal with? Wondering, did my father abandon me? Did he just not care enough about me to want to be involved in my life? And worse yet, what does it do to their self-esteem when they're told, "Your father was a loser. He was no good"? That's one half of their heritage. And children rely on their knowledge of their heritage to help define who they are, to help define their identity. Children who know about their ancestors, their parents, their grandparents, great-grandparents, and know about their lives and can see that they faced challenges and they overcame them, become more resilient because they then know that they can do the same thing. They can set and reach lofty goals. So we need to think about, as we manage that relationship, how it impacts our children. Now, if you are married to the father of your children, you are in a prime position, best opportunity to provide them with two adults in the house to share the responsibility of providing the income, maintaining the home, preparing the food, helping them with their schooling. Two parents working together to share that responsibility. This provides a little more stability for your child. You also have that opportunity to be the example of what a healthy relationship looks like. Now, conflict is inevitable in a family. There will always be differences of opinion. But when you see your husband, when there's a conflict, and you see him as the enemy, the problem that needs to be fixed, it invites contention into your home. And depression and anxiety are higher in children who witness family violence, whether that's physical fighting, loud, angry arguments, name-calling, it affects your children. So naturally, for your own benefit, to have peace and harmony in the home, you learn to be loving and kind to your husband. And when there is a conflict, you're able to separate the problem, the issue, from your relationship, and then collaborate with your spouse. How can we work together to overcome this problem? How can we find a solution that benefits both of us? And when you do that, you not only bless your children with living in a more peaceful home, but you're also providing an excellent example of how to resolve conflict with respect. And they can take that lesson to any relationship, at work, with friends. It's a powerful example for your children. Now, it is possible to be married and still be a single parent. If you're in that situation where maybe your spouse is not as involved in the parenting as you are, this will take quite a bit of communication, quite a bit of negotiating. It can be done with respect, always focusing on what is in the best interest of your children. Single parents can come from a variety of results. It can be by choice, or maybe it was forced on them. And single parents definitely need our support and encouragement, not our judgment or criticism. If you know of a single parent in your circle, do what you can to help them. They're probably already painfully aware of all the areas where they're falling short. Point out to them what they're doing right. And in their rush, in their dilemma of juggling everything, doing it all, the one ball that is most frequently dropped is self-care, which is critical. You can't pour from an empty bucket. Give them the opportunity, maybe offer some child care so that they have time to recharge their batteries. It will help them and help their family be stronger. Now, if you are divorced from the father of your children, you have a unique situation there. It doesn't necessarily have to be the same as being a single parent. But when a relationship ends, there is usually a lot of pain, hurt, anger, disappointment, and it's natural for you to want your children to sympathize with you and to feel the same way you do. But you may be divorcing your ex, but your children are not divorcing their dad. In fact, they really need to have that connection with both of their parents as much as possible. And their brains are not fully developed. That frontal cortex is not fully developed till we're in our 20s. So children are not able to handle this complicated adult information. It doesn't benefit them to fill them in on all the details of the affair, the addiction, all of the mess that may have led to the divorce. It actually damages them. Information provided to them needs to be kept age appropriate. Keep it simple and keep it positive. Now, even if it's the only thing that you and your ex can agree on, if you can reach the consensus that what is most important to you is the best interest of the children, you can both agree we want what's best for our children, and use that as the basis for every decision you make. Whether it's custody, visitation, structure, communication with the school. If you keep that focus on what is in the best interest of your children, it prevents you from giving into the temptation of using your children as pawns to get revenge on your ex. You know, some parents decide that rather than moving the children from one house to the other, why not move the adults? So instead of fighting over who gets the house, the children get the house. They're able to stay in their same neighborhood, attend their same school, have that consistency, that stability, and then the parents move in and out of the house when it is their time to have custody or be in charge of the children. You know, if you didn't have children when you divorced, you could walk away from it and never see each other again. But if you have had children together, you're going to be involved in those children's lives for the rest of your life. You're going to need to co-parent, to be on the same page when you make those decisions regarding your children. And to be able to be in the same room for a number of hours without an incident, an ugly incident. The love may be gone, that love and feeling may be gone, but if in the best interest of your children, you can maintain just the courtesy. Just focus on the children. It will have a huge impact on them, and it will make this process much smoother for them. The most important thing that your child needs to know in a divorce is that both parents love them and will still be involved in their lives. They need to have that assurance. And children naturally tend to blame themselves for everything. They also need to understand that it's not their fault. Mom and dad are not getting divorced because they got a failing grade in school. Those understandings will help them with this transition. Now, if there is abuse and the reason the marriage ended is because you needed to protect yourself and or your children, naturally you will take the legal measures that you need to protect both yourself and your children. But don't make the mistake of assuming that they are too young to be impacted. It is very possible that both you and your children will need therapy or counseling to help heal from this trauma. And it also is helpful if your children's sense of self will need to be reinforced. They'll need a lot of insurance. You'll need to create this safe space that they can share with you anything they need to share. And you're not worried about, they don't have to worry about you overreacting or becoming upset with what they share. Now, what if you're in that position that you don't even have the option of co-parenting? Your ex left not only you, but the children too. They just wanted out of the family. Or your child is the result of a brief encounter and there never was a relationship. These are the 4 recommendations I'd like to make in that situation. And actually, they probably could be applied to the other situations as well. The first is that unconditional love. Your children need to know that there are no requirements for your love. They don't have to achieve anything. You love them because they are your children. They need to feel that unconditional love. Children can heal and grow and improve their behavior and become when they feel that unconditional love of their parents. So make sure you assure them of your love. And secondly, any information you share with them, make sure you keep it age appropriate. As your children get older, they'll naturally want more information. So moving into number 3, tell them the truth as they are ready to hear it. Especially as they enter those teen years, they will start to resent you if they feel you're keeping information from them or trying to snow them over or blow smoke in their eyes. And if you feel like you made a mistake, you did something you regret, go ahead and admit it to your children. They don't expect you to be perfect. In fact, they will resent you if you try to act like you're perfect. They need to see that you're genuine, that you're sincere. Share the mistake you felt you made. Maybe they can learn from your mistake. And number 4, always acknowledge the reality, whether they had to be removed from the other parent because the other parent was abusive, but keep it positive. They don't need to hear all the ugly details. Comment as much as you can positively on your ex, the father of their children, if you no longer have a relationship with them. Help them find the good. And most importantly, make sure your children know that they are not a captive of their heritage, that they are free to build their own life, make their own decisions, and become what they want to become. Children learn from their heritage. They can also learn from the mistakes. They can make that decision. I want something better for my family. And they need to know that you believe in them, that they're capable of doing this, that they can build the quality of family life that they want. So we'll be continuing this month on commitment. I have some guest speakers. The next couple weeks we'll be learning more about your commitment with finances and legal protection, and also our global connection too, how all of these can help to strengthen our families. Please go to my website, healingyourfamilies.com, and see the resources I have for parents. I invite you to schedule a call. I would love to hear any concerns you have, any recommendations you have for future show topics. Join me again next week at the same time. Until then, love yourself and love your family. And let's make the world a better place by strengthening families. One family at a time. Start with your own. This is Emmylou Penrod with healingyourfamilies.com.